just wanted to talk about why even learn how to write. This is what this channel is about, so I kind of wanted to address why even watch this channel? Why not just write and figure it out on your own? And a lot of people do that, and that's okay. If that works for you, then you don't need to watch this channel, and that's fine. But for those that need a little bit more help, like myself, a little bit more direction in the writing, I really recommend learning the science of writing. And what I mean by that is there's a certain way to write that just feels right. It feels good. For example, have you ever read a book and you feel so satisfied after reading it and you're like, that was a good book. That felt right. The story felt right. It felt like it flowed really naturally. The characters felt really relatable, really like strong characters. They weren't just surface characters. They felt basically that the story felt well thought out. Um, I can I would say that that writer really took the time to learn how to write properly, or rather, uh, how to write in a way that a reader can really get absorbed in your writing. So, and I know when I say how to write properly, a lot of you will be like offended, and I'm sorry, but I feel like there is a science to it, and that's just my opinion. Um, and it's true. There is many different ways of writing, and that's totally fine. I'm not saying that there's not. I'm not saying that there's only one way to write. And if you don't write that way, you're not a writer. I'm not saying that at all. So please don't misunderstand. But rather, what I'm trying to say is that if you learn to write in a way that is structured, how about that? If you learn to write in a way that is structured, it can make it a lot easier for yourself, at least in the long run. And I have some notes here, so don't mind me looking at them, please. Um, let's see. Okay, why I learned to write. It helps you know what to write. Okay, so have you ever you're like trying to work your draft? Maybe it's your first draft, and you really don't know where the story is going. The plot is very kind of fuzzy. You feel kind of lost, like you're, I don't know, driving in a fog and you don't know where you're going. You can only see right in front of you. Well, some people enjoy that part of writing, and that's totally fine. But for me, to motivate me to write, I have to know where the story is going, or at least have a general idea. And so I feel like outlining, or at least discovery writing, which I'll get more into that in depth in another video, but like having an idea of where you're going and kind of like a plan kind of helps me be more motivated to write because I actually know where this is heading, I guess. And I feel like that helps the reader when they're reading your story. They're like, okay, I can kind of see where this is going. The pacing is really good, and it flows naturally. I think that's the main thing for me is when I read a book, I want it to flow naturally. I want the story to make sense too. Because a lot of times when I personally just throw things together, it doesn't really make any sense. Like the story plot feels forced a lot of the time, and it also feels like, yeah, like it just it doesn't it's not logical. And to me, that's really important in a story. So yeah, having an outline, or at least an idea, a plan, that helps a lot. Um, Also, it helps you know how to write a good story. Okay, so that's kind of subjective. Um, a lot of people, when I think they have different opinions of what a good story is. For me personally, a good story, like I said, is something well thought out. It's something very, it flows right. It's very interesting. Maybe there's a lot of good points, and there's not a lot of plot holes because when you think about the story ahead of time, um, I feel like thinking ahead of time really saves you a lot of drafting, because you know what you're going to do before you do it. And some people learn through drafting, and that's totally fine if that's your process. But for me, knowing what I'm going to write before I write it really helps me save a lot of uh, a lot of documents, a lot of time. Well, I shouldn't say time because it takes a lot of time to plan, but it saves me a lot of the effort of writing itself, I guess, which doesn't sound right. But I don't know. It's just my process personally, and I feel like maybe some people out there have the same process. So I feel like this channel will help a lot with that. Also helping just know how to write better, because let's be honest, it is a skill and it's an art, and just like any skill in art, you can always improve, you can always learn more, and there is a certain like science to it, and I know I keep saying that, but it's true. um, there's a reason why there's a lot of books out there about writing and about how to write, and in a way that makes sense and that is deeper than just like, have you ever read something written by like a 13-year-old and it's just very surface level, it doesn't feel well thought out. I'm sure there's 13-year-olds out there that um really know what they're doing and it feels right. But I'm just saying, I should say a new writer. And it's okay because you're new, so it's not anything to be ashamed of. But if you read something by a new writer, it just doesn't have the feeling of something by a seasoned writer. And I think that the difference is really, a seasoned writer would have had more time to really learn the skill and think about it. And yeah, just learn how to write better. And that takes time. But the more you learn, I feel like the more it helps you. So let's see, what else did I want to say? First draft better, makes writing easier. Uh, yeah, I think that's really all I wanted to say. I think it makes the writing process a lot easier for me, at least personally, that you know what you're going to write in the first place. And so it helps you, just all you got to do is do it. is I can't think of the word, but you just apply what you have already previously planned. And for me, that makes it a lot easier. And I personally enjoy planning out what I write. It takes time for sure, but I feel like once I actually write the draft, it's much more well thought out, and it just feels right to me, and that motivates me to write more. And that's just something that I personally have observed in my own writing process. So, for those that are like me, I feel like this channel will help you a lot. At least I will be sharing things that have helped me along the way. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy it. Bye.